Okay, so the sun is shining. I need to drive out to Evesham, so I thought I'd show you kind of how the latest version of autopilot that just updated yesterday is working on A and B roads here in the UK. Okay, so I've got the aircon on. Hopefully it's not too noisy, but it's 24 degrees or 23 degrees now here in the UK, so nice and warm. So it's a bit hot in here because the car's been sat in the drive in the sun whilst it was charging. So yeah, I had an update this morning. It just looks like it's a kind of minor bug fix release type situation. So it's version 9 2019.20.2.1. I noticed in the kind of previous version of this release, autopilot had seemed a bit kind of snatchy, and I had kind of not used it for a little while, so it'd be interesting to see how we got on. There's quite a lot of roundabouts in between here and where I'm going in Evesham, so I'll have to disengage it for those, but we'll see how it goes in between there and now. Also give you a bit of a feel for how it works with kind of parked cars and stuff. It gets a bit unnerving, but definitely want to try and do some more videos to show kind of how autopilot works, but need to maybe have a couple of cameras set up, because where this one is here, I'm trying to do two things. One is have an ability so you can see the road, but also so that you can see the dash and when the autopilot is enabled. So I'm going to autopilot now, and obviously I'll keep at least one hand on the steering wheel so I don't have it nagging too much. So it should be kind of pretty straightforward along here. It's 30 mile an hour, so not too bad. I found with the, like I said, the previous release of this, it was kind of not keeping very close to the curve. It was kind of sat quite way over. This one doesn't seem too bad actually. I do feel quite well positioned in the centre of the road, and the steering doesn't seem kind of too jerky. It's weird how autopilot, they make these improvements, sometimes it's a kind of a couple of steps back at the same time, so probably going to get a little bit confused here. Yeah, I have to. So autopilot gets a bit confused when you come into a situation where you've got the two lanes. It tries to kind of work out what's going on and kind of goes, oh shit, which is why I had to kind of force it over here into the left lane. I may do an evening video when there's not people behind me to actually see kind of what it would do. I'm pretty confident it wouldn't kind of drive into one of the barriers, but yeah, I'm not quite sure how long it would take to suddenly decide what lane it wanted to be in when that's kind of a single lane splits into two for a junction. I think it's also important to keep in mind that obviously autopilot will work wherever it enables itself, but it's still really predominantly designed for kind of motorway driving in this current release. It's not designed right now to kind of tackle roundabouts and handle those junctions. It's a bit strange right now. It's hunting a bit for the centre of the road. I'm not sure if it's a bit concerned. It's a bit close to this hedge on the left, right, so I'll probably have to take over now because it's going to crap the bed on this car. Yep. Hankered on the brakes there because it doesn't do a good job with parked cars either. So again, it can't decide how to deal with that. There's quite a lot of parked cars up here on the left normally, so again I have to take over. So I still think autopilot's really good, but I just want to kind of show people who haven't yet got a Tesla, don't know how things work right now in the UK. I've got a learner on a moped behind me, so it's I'll just have to take over again, get around here. So I don't want to scare him too much by phantom braking going on everywhere. It's interesting because I was watching the Tesla shareholder annual meeting, and some of the questions from the audience, one of them was talking about the advanced summon. So you may have seen this on some US people's YouTube with a Model 3, where the advanced summon, this is where the car can be parked in a car park, and then you can summon it from your phone, and it will drive, you know, from its parking space up to collect you. And so people are asking, when is that going to come out, you know, to more mainstream? So right now it's just on the these people on the earlier release kind of program. So yeah, it's interesting that, you know, they're still not confident yet they can make that mainstream. What Elon was saying is it's obviously makes sense. It's difficult to get a balance between kind of too conservative driving and too aggressive, because obviously in a car park there's parked cars, there's pedestrians, all sorts of stuff. So you want it to be cautious enough, you know, that it's safe, but not overly cautious that it just doesn't go anywhere. And then also you want it aggressive enough that it will kind of move out of the space and get to where it's trying to get to, but doesn't mow down, you know, some person trying to get to their car in the supermarket car park. But it's interesting still that they, you know, obviously it's great that they're testing these things and trying to overcome these things. But again, even though I have seen videos of obviously a Model 3, I think it is, doing autonomous driving, they still think that this year, 2019, that it's going to be able to do that. Now, maybe it's because, I don't know if traffic is simpler in the US. I'm just trying to think about all the times I've driven in the US. There's less, obviously, roundabouts and stuff like that. So maybe it is easier to have autonomous driving in the US. But I don't think it's going to be ready just yet here in the UK. That's one of the reasons why, even when it got reduced, I can't remember, I think it got reduced like £2,000 for the full self-driving, I didn't do it. And right now, I think I looked on my account, it's gone up to £5,800. And that's just because I still think you're paying for something that who knows when it's going to be available, for kind of two reasons. One, it's not just about Tesla making its car available to be, or have the ability to do full self-driving. It's also needs to be signed off by the regulators as well. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm excited about it because I still would like the ability to, well, I think a good example would be if you go out, perhaps say you go to a friend's house and you weren't planning to have some drinks, but then you do, so obviously you can't drive home. And I'm not going to say that the car drives you home, maybe in the future one day. So you get a taxi back, or, you know, catch a bus, or walk back, or whatever you decide to do. But then in the morning, you know, when you're sobered up and everything, have the car drive itself home, so you don't need to catch another taxi or something. So just stuff like that would be kind of cool. I'm still not sure how confident I would be wanting to like let it drop my kids off at school or something. But I guess it's just like anything in the future, that I'd be like, oh well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that? I remember, Dad, when you used to take me to school, you know, the car just drives itself. Yeah. So this update, it seems to be not doing too bad. It's not got too much phantom braking going on. I still do feel like it's hunting a little bit in, you know, to find the middle of the road. Slow down to 40. It's doing that. I think I probably mentioned this in previous videos. So my car's running Autopilot 2.5 hardware, and one of the main differences that I noticed, at least from when I've driven a Model S that had the Autopilot 1 hardware, AP1, which was developed by Mobileye. They use camera recognition on the sign, so you'll see now as I go from this 40 into a 50. Obviously we saw that on the camera, but only now it's gone to 50, so it's using GPS data as opposed to what the camera sees. And in general that's fine when you're kind of going into a higher speed limit, but the downside is obviously when you're coming in to a lower speed limit, you kind of go into that speed limit braking it, and it takes a few hundred yards before it will slow down. So that obviously is not something that you can have if the car's driving itself, because it'd be sure luck that it doesn't slow down and there's a policeman with a speed camera sat there waiting. But, I'm assuming it's a patent issue, and Tesla need to find some other way round doing it. Yeah, but it's handling these bends quite well. So it's rattling in the back of the car. It's annoying. Can't remember if I've got any junk in the trunk. Nice day today. I think should hit easily 50 kilowatt hours of solar. That's the reason why I decided to take the Tesla out. I wasn't going to take the Twizy because that's charged as well, but I thought I would just take the Tesla out and put a few miles on it, and then we can charge it up later. I'm going in the hospital on Monday for my operation on my hand, so I won't be able to drive for a couple of weeks. So we'll just be sat there charging. I just noticed that the map's all messed up because it must need a reboot because it's lost cell reception. That's another thing I noticed with this latest update. It seems to lose cell reception more often. So it's like, this will be I think the third time this week that I've had to do a reboot to get that working again. But it seems to be working quite well. It's always interesting when you come over a brow of the hill, because obviously it takes a moment for the cameras to see what's coming, but no hesitancy, which is good. So that was one of the issues that would happen on some of the older software. You come over the brow of the hill and it would kind of crap itself and slam on the brakes. So we're going to go right here, so to take over. What I'll do on the way back is see if we can do any form of navigate on autopilot. I'm not expecting it to be any different. It may not even be available actually, but I'm just interested to see if it's made any changes to how it handles roundabouts. So on navigate on autopilot, it should be doing more kind of checking on the map and know where the roundabouts are. And especially with this route, there's no new roads or new roundabouts or anything that it's going to kind of hopefully fall foul to. But good thing about this road as well, you can see there's lots of trees over the road, and it's not kind of seeing that and getting worried or anything. I know some older versions would do that with the tree lines or bridges or something. So here we go, we're going to come into this 30 now, and you'll see, so we're doing 50, and it will take a while to drop down to 30. It's probably going to crap the bed again because there's a car parked there. So how's it going to, yeah, see, it's going to come to a complete stop past this car. You know, it's only slightly out of it. So it still, it can't identify that there is a parked car and then move around it. And again, like I say, I know it's really only meant for on the motorways and stuff right now, but this to me is another reason why it's not properly ready. Now it may be that I know the Tesla software does kind of running like a shadow mode, so it may be seeing that car and thinking to itself, had things been different and I was doing something else, I would have reacted in a different way, but I don't know. I'm here to get a PlayStation Pro for from Argos. Going to be doing some PlayStation 4 Twitch streaming. So let me just I like to back into spots now so that I can have sentry mode on and it can detect any shenanigans whilst I'm away. I'm getting much better at parking now. Right, so I'm going to go grab this PlayStation and then I will be back. Right, no sentry events. What we will do is do a reboot on there. Sat nav. It's not just a sat nav, is it? It's the main unit there. Definitely needs a dust in here. Anyway, let's get going. So, roll. Aircon's off whilst it reboots all the things. So things like this car park, how would it handle that bit there? It's quite tight. Let's go. What's it moaning about? No idea. So that reboot hasn't oh, that's close to the left. It's very close to the left. Yeah, so that reboot hasn't enabled the cell reception. So, oh, there we are, it's working. So in a minute the maps should come up and we'll see what happens. So I'll take care of this roundabout whilst we do things. So the car, it brakes itself because it can see the other cars in front and it knows how to slow down. See now it's, yeah, then it disabled autopilot, didn't even beep that time. I do think this version is a bit glitchy. I don't think I like it. So, alright, start again. Let's put it in there. We're gonna, come on. Churchill Hospital, whatever, that's close enough. My assumption is it won't have the navigate and autopilot option because we're not on the motorway.
Drive west on A44 for 9/10 of a mile.
Yeah. Let me just check that. We got autopilot. Okay, navigate and autopilot. Yeah, it's enabled. Yeah, I'll just turn that off because it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to do anything. Yeah, it seems alright again now. But back there it was real close to the, I was just going around the bend, real close to the grass verge, and that falls away into the river. I think it's a River Avon, is it? Or, yeah, you can see on the map there, River Avon. So, still got this weird desire. I keep on getting this desire for a boat. But I've been watching some videos recently on barges? Narrowboats. So again, I don't know when I'd ever use one, but I've liked the idea of a boat for a long time. I know a few people that had like a fishing boat or something, and they're more trouble than they're worth, is kind of what it potentially seems. But I was thinking, you know, will I sell the Lotus and get a narrowboat or something, or maybe because looking at, I don't know, that's probably a discussion for another video. This is supposed to be about autopilot. So I think one of the things I've noticed that seems a bit better in this latest release is the nagging of whether you're holding the wheel or not. Obviously you're supposed to hold the wheel, but I don't know, let's see what happens is, even when you're holding the wheel, if you're not kind of squeezing it really tight since the last update, it would nag you telling you need to hold the steering wheel, and you're like, well, I am holding the steering wheel, so what are you bitching about? But it seems a little bit less sensitive, isn't the right word, is it? I think better sensitivity, because it actually knows I've got my hands on the wheel, so it isn't nagging me to put my hands on the wheel. I've got my hands on the wheel. This is another thing where autopilot is really good, but I think it's probably the same if you have what's it? The cruise control, adaptive cruise control. So it just obviously will slow down in traffic and keep going. So it's great in the morning when you're kind of stuck in traffic on the commute, especially like for me when the traffic's real bad lately. After I drop the kids off in the morning. So here we are, come up to another roundabout. I've got no one behind me, so I'll just wait and see what happens. Obviously I'll brake or take control before it smashes into the roundabout, but right, so it's come here, okay, it's, oh, bloody hell. Oh, nearly into the curb. Woohoo! But it tried. I don't actually. I think that's where it was going to get confused. Is when the hell do I come off the roundabout? But yeah, it was trying something. But I've got a Range Rover coming up behind me now, so I won't try that again. But that was interesting. So I think the little bug fixes must be something in autopilot. Let me just look again what it said that the releases was. I think it just said something about it wasn't now dog mode or something. Right, here we go again. So I won't do it because we've got the Range Rover behind me now. But why is it not showing the release notes on there? Right, let's try it up there. Come on. Sometimes it does this. If you've got really low cell signal, doesn't seem to want to pull the data down. Right, we'll check when we get back then. Don't want to name my vehicle. I know the name of the vehicle. I know a bit of road that we go back a slightly different way, but has a little bit more complicated road, and see how it does there. Much smaller, much narrower. It's a good test. But as you can see, in general, on roads like this, it is working really well, and it is keeping a good distance. I'd say it's about 2 foot, something like that, from the side. Here it is, look, I'm holding the steering wheel and it's bitching that I'm not. I have to squeeze it. But it never did that before. It's since they'd made the change to the EU update. That actually might have an impact on that roundabout bit we saw earlier. So the EU update, or whatever it is, restricts kind of how much the steering wheel can turn. And so that would obviously make sense when it was at that little bit on the roundabout. Right, go wire pedal. Love the names of places around here. Over here is this kind of, I don't know what you kind of call it really. They've got all sorts of weird stuff in there. I want to go in there one day. Right, so let's go along here. Over this little crest of a hill. So it's a little bit narrower, and obviously the Model S is quite a wide car, so it has to work a bit harder to keep in the middle of the road. Less room for error. And of course we've got another roundabout here, so again I've got no one behind me, so let's see what happens. I want to turn right here, but I'm not going to turn right. Let's see. Nope, he wants to go straight on, so I just don't understand. It's not, I guess that wasn't, it was kind of a roundabout, wasn't it? I still don't quite understand the linking. I don't know if it is linking at all with GPS, because here's another example. So we come up to another roundabout, and I can definitely see this one on the sat nav. So again, you would think it would slow down. Now it will slow down here because I've got a vehicle in front that it's using as guidance. Whoa! He drove into the curb. That was odd. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why you need to keep your wits about you and keep your hands on the steering wheel at all times. Right, let's go back to autopilot again for a bit. It was weird, it went so close to the verge again. It's weird. Seeing along here, it's alright. Into 30, so 1, 2, okay, 2 seconds-ish before it did the GPS lock. But I wasn't going very fast, was I? So you obviously cover more pace if you're going from a 60 to 30 and you were doing 60. So we come up to these traffic lights. We will come to a stop anyway because of the car in front. See what it's going to think about this bit of road here. One thing that I'd never noticed before is when it's in autopilot and it is steering, you look at that little blue steering wheel that symbols autopilot's on, you can see it moving. So you can see that it's turning the steering wheel a little bit to the left and straightening up. I think that's cool. I only noticed that about a month or so ago. Again, I've got my hands on the wheel and it's mounting still. Right, so now cut the bed again because there's a car. So I'll have to disengage. Every time you disengage autopilot or you yank hold of the steering wheel, it creates an event that Tesla can then use that to kind of work out what it needs to improve. So it is important to try and use autopilot as much as you can, even if it is a bit buggy, because then that's ultimately what's going to help make it better. So that's how they get all the billion miles of driving done on it, because it works better. But that's it really. That's just a little example of Tesla autopilot on the A and B roads here in the UK on software version 2019.20.2.1. I don't know if these little driving videos are of any interest. Maybe a bit boring to just be watching the road and seeing what's happening, but I think it's interesting to see how autopilot works and runs. Have a good one. Bye for now. Thanks for watching this video. A thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.